Adrian Peterson will be back in Washington again this year. The team picking up the option on the second year of a 2-year deal. And look, he just keeps going. The guy's going to be 35 this season, and he just keeps going. He and Frank Gore, as long as someone's going to give them an opportunity to play for a team, run the football, give them reps, give them handoffs, they're just going to keep piling up yards and yards and yards. And Peterson has said multiple times, Chris, that he wants to break Emmitt Smith's all-time rushing record. And Emmitt told us at the Super Bowl, hey, he wants to be alive when it happens. Well, even though Frank Gore is closer, I think the one guy on the planet right now who has the best chance to catch Emmitt Smith is Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that too, but I still think there's just too much meat left on the bone for him to do it. Now, I do think he has a chance to pass up Frank Gore. You know, I think he's got a little more left in the tank maybe than Frank Gore does. But Adrian Peterson, yes, I mean, at 14,216 yards, you know, he's still a little more than 4,000 yards away from Emmitt Smith. And I don't know if he's got that much time because right now, I mean, 1,000-yard seasons are, you know, they're dicey. I don't think they're going to happen for Adrian Peterson with the role he's going to play at this stage in his career. So he might be able to get to maybe get to Walter Payton territory, but I think that's even dicey at this point too. Regardless, it doesn't matter. What he's doing is amazing, and he is one of the best running backs in the history of football for my money.
He's more than 1,100 yards behind first ballot Hall of Famer Frank Gore, and if you say otherwise, he will fight you and almost fought Chris at the Super Bowl.
Hall of Famer Frank Gore.
He's still got 1,000 yards to go to catch Barry Sanders. But the one thing about Adrian Peterson, and again, the great unknown here is who will continue to give him opportunities. There was a question as to whether or not Washington really would pick up the option, but I think you have to forget the birth certificate, and you just have to look at the guy.
Yeah.
He can still do it. He can still get it done. And we always root for great stories. It would be a fabulous story if Adrian Peterson just keeps plugging away and plugging away and plugging away and ends up with 18,356. Even if it takes 6 or 7 more years to do it and he's playing into his 40s like Tom Brady. We've seen this guy recover from injury, and he has lost nothing. I mean, he's not the game breaker he was.
Right.
10 years ago, but compared to other running backs, he can still get it done.
He can.
And you know, he gets banged up like they all do, but when he's healthy, man, he give him the ball and let him go.
Well, and he keeps playing even when he gets banged up at this age. You know, what did he deal with? Like a little foot injury there at the end of the year or something with the leg, and he just continued to play. You know, he's made out of stone. He really is. I mean, this is one of the freakiest athletes to ever play in the sport. You know, Mike, I don't know if you've ever met him, but of course, you know, Adrian Peterson, when you meet him in person, he's just like, it's like metal wire and muscle, and you could, like, muscles in his ears, and you shake his hand, and he's famous for, like, breaking you know me, I got these big meat cleavers, right, for hands. I shook his hand, and damn, he tried to break my damn hand, and I was like, okay, am I about to get in a handshake match here with Adrian Peterson? But he's just that type of guy. And, you know.
Yeah, you've got giant freak hands like that claw machine, right? That's what your hand is, especially when you see my leg. You're going to do it next week every day.
You know it.
ET phone home. You're going to do it next week, and you're going to say, you've got that long-ass ET finger, man. Does that thing glow red at times?
Only when you get too close. It's a warning sign to get you away.
Yeah.
But, you know, Adrian Peterson, just to hit that on again, you know, he'll go down for me as one of the greatest players I've ever seen in person in my life. And I know I said the other day that for me, he's a top 3 running back in the history of the sport. But he's one of those guys, and there's very few of them, even in my 8-year NFL career, or even being in my dad's game, where I watched him on the field. I was with the Tennessee Titans in 2008, and I remember the Minnesota Vikings came to town, and I went, oh my gosh. You know, first off, he's bigger than you expect him to be. And he's so fast and so explosive and so violent in his prime, especially. He was, you know, a man among boys in a game that's full of, you know, big-time men. And that's where I'll never forget watching him reverse the field in the Tennessee Titans game I'm talking about, and then run back the other way and score a touchdown. And we had, like, one of the best defenses in football, and he did it, like, without breaking the sweat. And that's why he's just amazing to me.
Yeah, and I just hope it keeps going, and I hope that he is able to play and continues to find opportunities to play long enough to get to his goal of passing Emmitt Smith, because I guarantee you he still wants
Where
to
do you
pass
put him, Mike?
Emmitt
Like
Smith.
in the Mike Florio rankings of running backs. I mean, I don't know if you think he's top 3 like me, but I'm sure you think he's probably at least top 5 or 6. Like, you know, Emmett, Walter, Barry Sanders, Adrian Peterson, you know, Jim Brown, that Errol Campbell, that group. Where do you go in there?
I'd say 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And I'm reluctant to say Barry Sanders 3 because he's been passed by Frank Gore. But Barry Sanders chose to only play a decade in the NFL. Can you imagine if he had played as long as he could have, what he would have had when he walked away from the game? He would have been consensus best running back of all time. But I would put Adrian number 3 or number 4. And especially if he continues to climb this all-time rushing list, because that will mean he will have done very special things late in his career at a position where, for most guys, the wheels come off once they get to 30, even if they only can make it to 30. A lot of these guys can't even make it to 30. So what he's doing is incredible. What Frank Gore has done is incredible, especially in this era of pass-happy NFL offense.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.